All right, today we're going to dive into a method for making absolutely huge life changes. But here's the twist. It's not about massive effort. It's about actions so small, they're almost impossible not to do. It pretty much flips everything we think we know about goals on its head. So let's get right into it.
You know the feeling, right? It's January 1st, you've got this huge, ambitious goal, and you're full of energy. You're going to completely transform your life. But then, what happens? A few weeks, maybe a month later, that motivation is just gone, and the goal feels a million miles away.
I mean, this is such a familiar story, isn't it? We say we're going to run a marathon, but we're totally burnt out by February. We want to learn a new language, but then we just feel completely overwhelmed by it all. This huge gap between what we want to do and what actually happens, it's just so frustrating.
But here's the big idea, the real game changer. The problem isn't you. Seriously, it's not a lack of willpower. It's not that you're not motivated enough. The real issue is the method we're all using. We've been told to go big or go home, but it turns out the real secret to success is, well, the exact opposite. And that brings us right to the heart of this whole thing, the power of tiny. The secret isn't about gritting your teeth and pushing harder. It's about making the new thing you want to do so incredibly easy that it just becomes effortless. This idea is captured perfectly by a Stanford behavior scientist, BJ Fogg. He says, simplicity beats motivation. And when you stop and think about it, it makes so much sense, right? Motivation is a feeling. It comes and it goes. It's totally unreliable. But simplicity? That's something you can actually design. You can control it. So what in the world is a tiny habit? Well, it's an action that is so small, it's almost comical. We're talking something that takes less than 30 seconds to do and requires pretty much zero effort. Think about flossing just one tooth or doing a single push-up. Yeah, that's the scale we're talking about here. Now, I know it might sound kind of unbelievable, but the science here is solid. A habit that takes just 1 second, that can be the tiny seed that grows into this massive life transformation. You see, each little success makes the next one feel easier, and that kicks off this powerful chain reaction of positive change. So, how does this actually work in the real world? It all boils down to a really simple, super elegant 3-part formula. This is the engine that actually drives lasting change in our behavior. And here it is. The formula is cue, tiny action, and instant celebration. You can also think of it as anchor, behavior, celebration. Every single one of these parts is absolutely essential for wiring this new habit deep into your brain. Let's break down how they work together. First up, you've got the cue, or what Fogg likes to call an anchor. This is some rock-solid routine you already do every single day without even thinking about it. You know, like brushing your teeth or pouring your morning coffee. This existing habit is going to be the trigger for your new one. Okay, next is the tiny action itself. This is the new behavior you want to start doing. And the golden rule here, the most important part, is that it must be ridiculously easy. So easy that you could do it on your worst day when you have zero motivation. So easy you just can't say no to it. And finally, and this is the part people always forget, but it might be the most important, you have to celebrate. The second you finish that tiny action, you need to create a feeling of success. Now, this isn't just some silly feel-good trick, this is pure neuroscience. That little rush of positive emotion literally tells your brain, hey, that felt good, let's do that again. Okay, that's enough theory. Let's get really practical. We're going to walk through the exact blueprint you can use to create your very first tiny habit, like right now. So the blueprint is super simple. First, pick your habit. Next, find a really strong anchor to connect it to. Third, and this is so important, plan how you're going to celebrate. After that, sure, you can track your progress. But that last step is the golden rule. You only make the habit bigger after the tiny version feels completely automatic. Don't rush it, seriously. So let's look at a real example. It might sound like this. After I brush my teeth, boom, there's your reliable cue. I will stretch for 10 seconds. That's the tiny, can't say no action. And right after, you give yourself a little fist pump or a quiet, nice. That's it. That's the whole loop. Simple, right? Now, let's zoom out for a second. Why does this simple little loop lead to such big, long-term change? Well, it's all about building this unstoppable momentum, one small win at a time. You see,
Every single time you do your tiny habit and you celebrate, you're building something called self-efficacy, which is really just the belief that you can do it. And this is so huge. Success is what fuels motivation, not the other way around. And as that momentum builds, bigger changes start to feel natural. What once seemed totally impossible slowly but surely just becomes your new normal.
So as we wrap this up, if you remember one thing, let it be this. It's not about making some giant leap. Your journey to real, lasting change, to becoming the person you actually want to be, it all begins with a single, tiny action.
And that leaves us with one final question for you. Don't wait for tomorrow or for Monday or for New Year's. Based on everything we just talked about, what is one tiny habit you're going to start today?